Your Majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always coming back. Hope you're well in all that you do and you're loving yourself and others like always, and you're living your life according to your own way, right? You're forging more connection with your creator and you're being fulfilled in all that you do, because these are important as we journey through this life struggles, right? Today I want us to get right into it. Then we talk after that.
Watch this video and I'll be right back. Pay attention.
You don't truly understand the nuances of white supremacy if you don't understand how it informs your spirituality.
So I recently came back from a trip to Ghana, which I went to for a wedding. And while I was there, I decided that I wanted to go visit the Gold Coast Castle. The Gold Coast Castle is one of the places that they enslaved Black people. They held Africans there before forcing them onto the ships across the Atlantic for the slave trade as we know it. And one of the things that really stood out to me about this is the fact that as we were walking through and we're seeing all of the dungeons that African people were enslaved in, learning about the conditions that they had to survive in, that people would go blind because it was so dark in these dungeons and they were not exposed to sunlight throughout this time. So that way, when they went out into the sunlight, they could not see. Or the fact that food would be thrown from windows at the top and land in the bodily excrements of all the people forced to stay together. Or the fact that people would not always realize that the person in front of them had died until they touched them and felt the coldness of their bodies. And then, of course, the decomposing smell. It is brutal and it is gruesome, and it was such an emotional experience for me. But what really tripped me out is the fact that on top of these dungeons was a Christian church. Yes, there was a church on top of the dungeons where enslaved Africans were held before being forced across the Atlantic. And the man who was conducting the tour was explaining how sometimes the pastor, even thinking about it and re-listening is just making me shake, was talking about how the pastor would sometimes, when he was feeling very benevolent, toss some food in right on into, before stepping into the sanctuary. And when you consider that that same religion has been used to cause so much trauma, and I am saying this as the daughter of a preacher. When you learn this, and then I had the privilege of being able to see this firsthand, going to this place where people who look like me were enslaved, it really makes you wonder about Christianity and what it is that we are holding on so tightly to. And so if me being open to the idea of accepting that my ancestors fought for so many things, and that if I'm here, it's because of all of that they had endured, and I choose to venerate them, if I choose to acknowledge the spiritualness of our experience and our existence, if that makes me a witch, then I guess I'm a witch.
I'm also a daughter of a pastor, and you can call me witch all day. But all jokes aside, any spirituality that condoned slavery, any spirituality that preaches hate, any spirituality that tells you to hate another person for the way that they were born, the way that they are, the way that they live, is not a spirituality for me. And for those that have been oppressed under the weight of these spiritualities, I don't understand why you continue to follow them. I don't get it. And if that's something you want to do, that's something you want to do, whether I understand it or not. But the fact that you demonize the way others practice their spirituality is a problem, especially demonization of African spiritualities. African spiritualities were here long before any Abrahamic religion. So if you want to continue to practice the colonizers' religion, that's your business. But can you leave the rest of us alone? Just because we don't subscribe to Abrahamic religions don't mean we're not human, and does not mean that we're demonic. The one thing I can say about African spiritualities, they do not force their spirituality on you. Nope. Most of the time the shit is closed. But for some reason, Abrahamic religions are the only ones that bother people, terrorize people, try to make people believe the way they do. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, leave us alone. That's all we're asking. Leave us alone. You don't like what we're doing? Okay, fine. You're not living our lives. Leave us alone. Remember, diversity equal power. We can change the world when we work together and protect black women. Until next time.
Like, what are we preaching? What good news are we giving? When we are doing this side by side with the demonization of other people, with enslaving other people, like this is exactly what is even happening up until today. We look at other people as bad, but we do not look at ourselves. We see other people are going to hellfire straight away, but what about we? Those evil we do behind closed doors, do we sit and think about it? Do we fix ourselves first before looking at the other person? How can we have a log of wood in our eyes and we'll be struggling to remove that little speck in someone else's eye? This is a good question we need to sit and think about. This was a religion where, like, do you know the reason why I decided to bring this up? For the fact that our traditions are seen as demonic practices. And this is why when I saw this I felt like, why not I bring this? Is this not also demonic practices? Because we are human beings. Now let's just use that word for the sake of this video. We are human beings, all of us, right? We have the right to live. We are equal. But you have to push some people down under you and step on them. And you feel that's not demonization. You are not a demon by doing that. But other people who want to practice their religion, their traditions, you look at them as demonic people and you instigate fellow brothers like them. The pastor feels, or the so-called man of God feels that he want to do some little charity. He would throw some little crumbs to them there. And to him, he has done the most. And he's going to heaven when he dies because he's so holy. And those people who are stuck in there for no good reason, for just the fact that they are black, for just the fact that they are Africans, those people that were hurt against their own will now go to hell. In short, they've started experiencing hell on earth, because that kind of experience is hell on earth already. Sweetheart, I will ask again, what are we preaching? We say we should love. They came and told us that we should love equally. They did that for their own selfish interest. So that we love them even though they do not look like us. We have to love them with all our heart. But do they do same for us? No. Because if they did same, they wouldn't have a church on the dungeons where our ancestors were kept and were suffering and were dying and decomposing. They wouldn't. This is so inhuman. Like, just imagine you as a person right now. You held a lot of people underneath a place and you are on top of them. They are wailing, they are crying for help, they are dying, they are losing their life every moment. And you are up there that you are praying to a creator somewhere. Oh my goodness, you are so holy. Because this is just how it is. You are up there because you've made yourself as one with the creator. So the life of people are now in your hands, right? Those people do not deserve. You know, of course, we were looked at as animals. Before us, they come to lie. Oh, this is the Bible we're bringing to you. But this Bible was even our property. They took it and went and whitewashed it. They whitewashed it and turned it in a way that they can manipulate us. They change a lot of things so that we can keep remaining being the slaves that we are. And up until today, we are still slaves. They come to tell you, oh, this is a holy book. We're giving you a holy book. We've done you so much good that you can't pay us back. So we have to take your lands. We have to take your women. We have to take your children. We have to take your mineral resources because you can't pay us. There is no payment you can give to us for bringing God to you. This was the beginning of the brainwashing. They told us to close our eyes. Our eyes were closed. They gave us the Bible. And before we open our eyes, they've gone with our resources and they developed their countries. And I get some Africans saying that we cannot compare to the West because the West have gone so far away, far ahead of us. The West are so developed that we cannot compare to them. When everything they use in developing themselves, they came and stole it from you. Here. What are we preaching, sweetheart? What kind of love are we giving out? When we still have these practices. And what is even painful today is that we are doing this to ourselves now. They do not come here to do it again. I keep saying this. They have trained people that succeed them. And do you know those people? Those people are the pastors and priests that we have. These are their delegates now amongst us. Because they do the same, exactly the same thing to fellow brothers and sisters of them. They extort. People now use being a pastor as a way to escape poverty. You come to somebody and say you're preaching to that person. Oh, there's somebody in your heart. And you start, in short, they start instigating, causing problem. They scatter your home. They tell you your mother is a witch, your father is a witch. They destroy your family. But that person will say the other person is a witch, is the demon itself. Because you are coming to destroy a home. Are you not a demon? Are you not a witch? Because you're just self-centered. What you're interested in is what you extort from them. You don't care whether they live or they die. This is the same thing the colonizers did. We are still doing it to ourselves. Even amongst ourselves in the church, there are segregation. Now let's not just talk about Islam and Christianity. Because these are just, I don't know, it's a cat and rat or whatever you. Islam will say Christians are going to go to hellfire. Christians say Muslims are going to go to hellfire. We are still colonizers destroying each other in our motherland. That is the truth. That is the truth. We are colonizers. We have taken over. We're not in charge. And this act is still present in our community. Where the church will be on the heads of a lot of innocent people, terrorizing them, frustrating them, and they will tell you, I'm a pastor. Someone will extort from you, you can't see anything, and when you say, they will tell you you are talking against a man of God. Someone will do things that is abominable with you. You can't go out to get justice. Because even when you go to get justice, people will look at you as the demon who is trying to bring down a man of God, a woman of God. It's still the same thing, sweetheart. Those people, we are still in the dungeon. And these people, our own brothers and sisters, are ahead of us, praying to a God. All we do these days is eye servicing. I keep asking this question. I'm going to leave you with it. When you go in your closed doors, you are in your room alone and you close your doors. What do you hear about yourself? What do the spirits tell you about yourself? Or your spirit is dead. Because when your spirit is dead, your conscience is gone. You won't even hear this thing you're doing is wrong anymore. There are lots of them who claim they are pastors and priests. When they are behind closed doors, their conscience is dealing with them. They are frustrated because of the evil they do to people. Because of the rate of which they take advantage of people. And they wouldn't want you to say. Even when you know, they wouldn't want you to talk. Because when you talk, they're going to label you as a bad person. And since we have all conditioned our mind as Africans into believing in all this nonsense, we now look at the people as the bad people. Why those who are, even the demons themselves, are those that are holding that Bible like this? They are the demons themselves. In sheep clothing. Anyway, I just felt like sharing this with you. So you leave your comment and thought there at the section, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others. Stay safe, stay positive. Bye for now.